Greetings, Starfinders, and how are we all on this somewhat troublesome Monday? Thank you for being here in the Secret Lab. My name's Javen Fox, resident mad professor here in said Secret Lab, and today, as we do every Monday, we're playing Starfinder, the sci-fi role-playing game. Episode 13, Part 3 of the mystery on Cryonis 3. Too many threes in that little intro for my brain at the moment. Last week, thrilling episode. We'll do a little catch up with the cast in just a moment. But for right now, let's get into it, shall we? And we are back. Welcome, folks. Hope you're all having a fine week, both cast and chat. Zoe, conspicuously in chat this week. We've lost comms, as you can see from the overlay. Let me just turn this up so I can hear myself a bit better. And how are audio levels for everybody? Can everybody say hello?
Hello. Music's coming in slightly hot, I think.
Slightly hot on comms, okay. Yeah, no problem. Interesting.
Sorry, music's coming in slightly hot.
Really? Like to you? Over Discord?
Yeah, just on Twitch.
Oh, okay. There we go. How's
So
that?
you've not just turned your speakers up?
That's better.
That is better. You know what? I was listening to the wrong headphone mix. Connor's almost silent. Let's turn Connor up. It's running pretty hot. It might just be a mic positioning.
I don't want to
Whoa, hey, hello, sir. Wolf. There he is. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Traumatic episode. Well, you know what? Pretty normal episode last week. Until the traumatic disappearance of our loyal captain, Clara Gayl. Abducted, as she was, by a swarm of Arachnoids who disappeared down into the depths of Cryonis 3, leaving nothing but a crevasse in their wake. Shocking stuff. This, of course, took place at Dr. Helsing's secret lab out on the plains, where you discovered a messy scene, signs of a struggle, a specimen, an arachnoid specimen, small one, in a dead in a case. And while Blaz and Ormanganda and she were investigating the lab, Clara was overcome by a sound only she appeared to be able to hear, drawn out into the waste, into the night, to be met by a horrific scene, a blood-curdling scene, with only face as backup. He was incapacitated by a web-like substance bound up, unable to help. And that's pretty much where we pick up this week in the aftermath of this shocking development. So, crew. Disturbing scenes. What are you doing? Yes. Just making a note to give Facey some extra XP for that role playing there. Thank you. Okay.
Ormgander takes some industrial strength wet wipes out of his back pocket and proceeds to start trying to clear the face of his friend.
Stop making things up in your inventory. You don't have any industrial strength wet wipes. You could have stopped at the commissary and bought some, but you didn't. I asked you very specifically what you were doing to prepare for this journey, and wet wipes were not mentioned.
Okay.
I have to draw a hard line on these things. I'm sorry.
Instead, what he does is much like a parent cleaning a toddler's face. He spits on his handkerchief and then starts trying to wipe it off.
Okay.
She's gone to go and just have a look down the crevasse.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can see.
Are we not still in immediate danger? I feel like there's quite a few of those things across the crevasse, right?
So what you see before you is it's pitch black out on the plains. It's the depths of night here. You only ever got a brief flash of the arachnoids in the darkness, illuminated as they were. I can't remember what illuminated them, but there was a flash in the darkness.
Face's fire.
It was the fire, wasn't it? Yes. The fire. You got just more of a hint of a. To continue with the aliens references, it's when Hicks flashes the flashlight round as he looks through the suspended ceiling in Aliens, and you just get this horrible carpet of movement coming at you. So very hard to assess numbers, but and obviously you were incapacitated, Face. So as the others made their way out of Dr. Helsig's lab, the rumbling subsided. The creatures appeared to disappear down into this crevasse. So right now you can't see any creatures. This crevasse extends to the limits of your PCU lights, which is only really only real portable light you have on you at the moment. But as you scan the crevasse looking for signs of movement, they appear to have receded to whence they came. Yes, Sam.
Can I see in the dark? Not see in the dark, but I have low light vision, so can I actually see more clearly?
Even with your low light vision, I mean, this crevasse, you can see further into it than most if you have low light vision, but it clearly extends a long way into the moon's crust, and you do
tracks.
You do not spy movement. It appears that they burrowed their way up from the ground. This crevasse you hadn't actually discovered as yet. You'd come in on the opposite side of the lab, so you hadn't come across it on your way in. But it's clearly where they'd emerged from, and they have. There's disrupted snow around where Clara was taken, but no, there are no tracks going anywhere else from the crevasse. So essentially, they came up, took Clara, and returned. And at the moment, all you can see is this thing is incredibly deep. You'd like to say your light doesn't reach the bottom of it, and by the time you guys make it out there, the eerie quiet, apart from the winds whipping across the Cryonis plains, is all you can really make out. They disappeared as quickly as they appeared.
How steep is this thing? Is it a vertical shaft, or could we board it? You wouldn't want to board it. I mean, it's like a fissure in the earth, and it extends a long way down. I was gonna throw a little chip of ice down, see if you can hear a clatter or a plop.
Okay. No. It's deep. But
she's
over the
dead.
wind it would be hard to heal.
How did the spiders get up here so quickly and go back down there so quickly? If it's as deep as that, they must be pretty fast.
Yeah, what's the incline like, Jay? Would we have to literally climb down, sort of, or could we just walk down?
There, as you examine the fissure, there is no obvious walkway. It's pretty sheer, icy, no discernible way down.
Right.
It is like I say, a crack in the earth, rather than a valley. Say,
would not that I'm suggesting splitting up the party. Would Face be able to glide down, possibly, or fall with style?
without knowing what lies at the bottom, hard to say.
Has anyone got a flare or a glow stick or something like that? Maybe
We've got rope though. We have got rope. So, like, I don't mind being dangled down to the length of our rope.
I think we should dangle the lightest person.
Oh,
Not a chance.
oh, wait, she.
Not a chance. You three can no.
Give me.
No.
Give me the thing. Give me the thing I gave you last week. Give
Not
me
a chance.
the feminine hygiene product from the future.
Okay.
I
have no idea where you're going with this, but I like it. So this sounds.
I don't know where you're going with this.
He's
to be
about
fair.
to MacGyver this shit.
So enjoy yourself. Please enjoy yourself.
Let's see where he's going with this.
Blas takes the relatively small stick-like feminine hygiene product from the future and casts token spell upon it to make it glow with an ambient, suspicious blue light, and casts it into the ravine.
Nice. It's fairly light. It gets buffeted by the air currents within the crevasse. You see it disappearing into the inky blackness, illuminating the walls of the crevasse as it descends. It keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. Eventually it appears to stop, but by the time it does, the dim glow of token spell is really, Ormagand is probably one of the few that can, anybody with low light vision.
I have low light vision.
Yeah, you would just about be able to make it out. Hard to judge, but it's several hundred feet deep. It extends into the very depths of the planet.
We're not following her down.
She's dead.
Guys, was there any?
Trying to jump to conclusions.
Well, I'm not jumping down there.
I can push you.
Blas
Ooh,
says,
Jay!
Blas says you can
roll for
try.
putting Blas down the crevasse.
Guys, was there any climbing equipment in the lab? Was there anything that can help us in the lab?
Good point. Let's go check.
I can't.
Let me consult my memory of what's in the lab. GM, what's in the lab?
We're right by it. We can just go back and look.
Yeah, you can re-enter the lab and have a look if that's what you'd like to do.
I'm thinking we're going to have to find an alternate way down, guys.
Looking around the lab, there is cold weather gear in Skittermander size. Other stuff that if you wish to search the lab, you search for, but a cursory glance. Apparently, Dr. Helsig was not a climber. And actually, out here on the plains, the terrain is relatively flat. There is some rough terrain, but obviously you're moving away from the mountains. You've travelled quite a long way out from the mountains, so no climbing gear to speak of. Sorry, Sam?
It's basically sort of tundra.
Pretty much, yeah.
Hate to say it, but the best way to help Clara, find Clara, might be to try and find Dr. person whose name I can never remember or pronounce correctly.
Helsig.
That was 3 different answers.
Helsig. Dr. Helsig.
Yeah, Helsig.
Yeah, maybe trying to find Dr. Helsig's going to be the quickest way you can find Clara. I mean, Face, you saw what happened, right? The spiders carried her down. She didn't fall down the crevasse.
Well, it was kind of hard to see in the dark, but I didn't hear anything hit the floor, so that's a positive sign.
Are we missing anything? Can anybody think of something that we're missing?
Have you managed to get into his computer in this lab and see if there's any notes or anything that he left, or?
We haven't tried.
Yeah, we haven't tried.
I remember him saying that he left more important and hidden notes in this lab than he did at his other place. So if we can find out what they say, we might be able to get down there and help.
Good call.
That's a good point.
Alrighty, I will try and crack whatever electronics are still functional. You ransack the place.
Okay, I'll wait in the car, guys, because I'm too big to get in the thing.
You're too big to get in the car, if I remember rightly.
I just about fit in the car.
You just wait outside and pick some of that jizz off you.
Roll around in the snow or something, so you're clean.
Jay, how many lizards on sticks have I got left?
Knowing your propensity to nom through them, they're gone.
But all of them?
Mm-hmm. You should learn to pace yourself.
Sad day.
It's like every week you eat like 6, and I haven't been giving
I was gonna give my last lizard on a stick to my lizard bro.
Outside of the lab,
he's having a shitty day.
You just hear a muffled, I can really do with a lizard on a stick right now.
Oh my god, it's just like doing this on his uniform, just kind of like.
Bless holds out his hand to him and goes, "No, don't reward that. don't reward bad behaviour. We should be rubbing his nose in the fact that he let our captain be abducted and then locking him outside. It's the only way he'll learn."
That is true. I mean, you guys don't exactly have a great track record with losing people, do you?
Wow.
Dude, you didn't have to say it.
Fucking hell.
Yes, I do.
Harsh.
I am harsh. I'm always harsh. This is method acting.
I like that the in-game insult actually made people feel a bit kind of, oh,
it's like, whoa.
I don't like that.
It's still too soon, it turns out.
Just breaking character. No, I'm not me. Have I got yeah.
So what are you doing, guys? Let's
right.
Trying to hack Ubal's computers.
So you're going to try and hack Ubal's computer. Okay.
Searching the rest of the.
Look for some light sources, maybe. Yeah. Some like glow sticks or flares or anything like that as well.
Or just more feminine hygiene products.
I mean,
yeah.
In the Skittermander lab, in a male Skittermander's lab, female hygiene products.
No judgment here.
Okay, so we're going to start with we're going to start with what you find. There are scribbled notes dotted around the lab. Some kind of too scrawly to even really make out. Others a little bit more easy to understand, but it's fairly clear flicking through them that they're like post-it notes. They're just things to remember to look at. There's nothing too much of use on the paper notes that you find strewn throughout the lab. You do find some fairly decent quality torches. You find 2 of those. Certainly they have a lot more output than the PCUs that the personal comms units that you would normally use just to kind of light your way around a room. They are hardened against the weather as well. more explorer torches, a bit more professional camping torches, I guess you could say. The place is the main thing that comes across is the place is a mess. The place has been turned over. The computer that you look at, Blaz, is actually forms part of the HAB structure. And it's fairly well protected. There is it is in code. It is passcode protected. So I'm presuming you're going to want to try and hack that.
Yep.
Okay. Could you then, in that case, please give me a computers roll?
21.
21. The computer does not yield to your attempt to crack it. Some pretty stiff encryption on this computer.
Is the password on any of the post-it notes?
None of them appear to have anything short enough to be a code. I will allow you to take 20 on this one, Blaz, if you want to just beaver away at it a while. Of course, it will take 10-15 minutes. It'll take a little while, perhaps, if you want to do that. Unless you want to try and just go in cold one more time. But after that, it's probably a sit down and beaver away at it for a while.
Going cold was only a 20, so yeah, I'll sit down and beaver away.
Okay. So Blaz tinkers away with the computer for a little while. In the sort of 10-20 minutes that it's going to take him to try and crack this computer, what are the rest of you guys doing?
Can we do a third
I'm
the lab?
Sorry, one at a time. Sorry.
Yep.
I'm gonna just be sitting in the car, trying Clara's comms, seeing if I can get it through.
Okay. Yeah. So you put a ping out to Clara's PCU, but there's no response.
Is there like a Find My iPhone app that I can?
There's not, but as we've discussed in previous episodes, that would be somewhat of a risky feature to have on a PCU. But interestingly, it is currently there is a connection. It's just there's no answer. So you can tell the difference between it's not. It doesn't appear to be broken at the other end. It's just there's no response.
So then I can extrapolate from that she probably hasn't been melted, which is good. She's not a puddle of goo, so that's something.
Not being goo is positive.
Yeah.
Ormaganda, what are you up to while Blaz is cracking on with the workstation?
Toss the lab sheet. Toss
Sorry.
what's the lab.
Sorry. Yes, good idea. It's kind of not very much here. I mean, it's kind of conspicuous, almost, how someone's already gone through this stuff.
Wait a minute, something just occurs to me, guys. Do we know that the Arachnoids came up from that crevice, or just exfiltrated that way?
I was wondering that.
Yeah?
Yeah, because it didn't look like they came up from anywhere.
No.
Right,
Didn't think- I was thinking
great
that.
minds. So maybe it's worth us checking the lab and then checking to see if there are any tracks outside that maybe we can follow.
If we have torches, we can use those maybe to look for tracks. So
Yeah.
there's 2 torches. Do you want to grab one? Let's go outside and have a look.
Well, let's
Or pass one to Face.
well no, let's finish sweeping the lab together. And then after we've done that, assuming we don't turn anything up or depending on what we turn up, then let's have a look for tracks as a group, because maybe we don't want another one of our members suddenly to a crevice which is 300 feet deep.
You're happy for Face to sit outside his own, but as soon as I'm like, I'll give you a talk, you go out there. Oh, I don't want to go outside. And
I'm saying
I wasn't. He's in the car. He's safely.
He doesn't fit in the car.
He's safely cleaning Arachnoid jism off himself.
Very true. It would take a lot of arachnoids to abduct.
Could I roll a percent die to see how much of this shit I've got off myself?
Sure.
And how much he's got on the inside of the car. The inside of the glass is covered in arachnoid jizz now. Thank you.
I've got 91% of it off of me.
Good job. As you remove this stuff, it appears to. When you were hit by it, it had this kind of tacky, semi-liquid quality to it. But actually, the reason it locked you in was it kind of pretty much instantly hardened on contact. So with your dragonoid strength, you've been able to like flex your muscles and chip the stuff off, and it fractures away relatively cleanly. It's an interesting substance, but in isolation, not beyond your ability to break. Yeah. It was just you were caught unawares and hit by so much of it that the shock of it meant that you were stuck there for a moment and unable to react. But you were eventually. I mean, it was certainly with Ormagander's help. Once he got you started, you were able to start breaking this stuff from you.
Nice.
Jay, would you describe it as some form of secreted resin?
It is some sort of secreted resin, yeah. I would absolutely describe it as such. Of course I would.
I was just going to ask, does Blast have the ability to test samples of things? Because you were testing those random potions the other week.
That
Is it
was a chem analyzer that can determine what's in things. So maybe this works.
You can certainly come around to doing that at some point. You can stick some of that in there.
I mean, everything is chemicals, right? So you can put anything in there.
Yeah. In the meantime, so Face has done very well getting this stuff off him. Just a few bits left over. Not a lot.
Dangling from his ears.
Ormangander and she, scanning the lab, she's instincts were correct. There doesn't appear to be much of value. It's clearly been turned over. You've spent enough time around, should we say, shady goings-on to recognise somewhere that's been turned over. And you don't find anything that appears to be of value that's been missed. So you can only hope that what you're looking for can be found within the databanks of the computer. Ormangander, as you cruise outside, realising that there's not much to add to this situation until Blaz has finished his work, you take one of the torches and you go out and examine the crevasse. It's a little walk, minute or so's walk from the.
I'm gonna go. I don't want him going on his own. I'm gonna go.
Okay. Okay. The higher powered torchlight lets you examine the. You can see the far side of the crevasse more clearly now, and it's virgin snow. It's pretty untouched, and it's quite clear to see with on closer investigation that the arachnoids did emerge from the crevasse. What you can also see is there are scratches up the inside of the crevasse, presumably caused by the arachnoids climbing it. There's a great variety of scratches coming up the sheer face of the crevasse, and you can't help but notice a variety of sizes. Some just as thick as your little finger, some going several inches deep, gouges in the side. So it looks like a range of creatures, an assortment of creatures, manage to claw their way up out of the crevasse. And actually, you can see as you shine the light further down, the torchlight doesn't quite reach the bottom, but certainly illuminates the crevasse in a way that nothing has so far. You notice that dotted along the walls at seemingly random intervals, it's almost been at certain levels, and it appears quite far down. It doesn't really start until you get maybe 100, 150 feet down. There are sort of Swiss cheesed areas. There are holes within the walls. The torchlight doesn't illuminate. You're just too steep an angle to see how deep these holes might be, whether or not they're just indentations or tunnels. But certainly,
or whether they're deeper. Yeah.
But certainly you can see that there was some form of network of indentations, tunnels, holes in the walls of the crevasse. And from the snow movement, you determine pretty quickly that that was the origin of the arachnoids. That's where they came from.
So looking at this, I guess that sweep with the torch just confirms that we couldn't climb down. It would be without sort of proper equipment, rope, which we don't have.
Yeah.
Just out of character here, have any of you played Gears of War?
Yes.
You know the bomb they make? It seems like we need one of those. We need a bomb that can just wipe out all the tunnels at once.
Like atomics.
While this general de-gooing, de-webbing, de-resining investigation and inspection of the crevasse takes place, Blaz, busy beavering away inside the Had. You feel that you hear the satisfying chime of the encryption on Dr. Ubel Helsig's workstation giving way to your hacker skills, and it brings you a little rush of satisfaction. And you have access to his files.
Awesome.
There's a lot.
Is it in Skittermander, Jay?
It is. It's actually in common. Clearly, Dr. Helsig has been working with multiple races for long enough that just for speed of moving notes from one peer review to the next, he's got into the habit of keeping his notes in common. His notebooks were in Skittermander, but perhaps that's because they're more mobile, more likely to end up in someone else's hands. It's his personal notes, but these are his research notes, and they are in common.
All right.
They are divided into a range of topics. The arachnoids themselves, the biological notes, notes about the societal structure, what he's determined so far about the arachnoids, geological notes about the makeup of Cryonis 3, and his mappings and findings and scribblings about various geological structures here on the moon, and you find set of notes about the astrophysical nature of the moon. It's unusual. It's a very unusual orbit. It's a strange placement within this binary system of Cryonis. So yeah, a wealth of information, and realistically, probably it's going to take a while to sift through.
All right. Last edited.
I was gonna say. Does he have like a nice little summary paper somewhere that he submitted for?
Can you download it to anything, or we can just take it with us?
It's a good idea.
You go where?
If you wanted to take a copy, now you've cracked the encryption, you could transfer it to your own datapad if you wanted to take a copy away with you.
I will do, but at the same time, I still want to know what the last thing he edited was. What's the most recent thing in there?
Anything ominous?
The last edits were of the geological data.
It's interesting.
You've now become familiar with the layout of Cryonis, the layout of the ore deposits, spreading down from the Horseshoe Mountains in this kind of loop-like structure running under the crust out west from the Horseshoe Mountains, the seam that the miners have been mining. The last edited file is of a map, and you instantly recognise the settlement, the mines, the Horseshoe Mountains. You get your bearings on it pretty quick. You're pretty familiar with it at this stage. But interestingly, there are red markings that seem to be almost like a series of dashes and streaks and like a kind of almost like a red veining that doesn't follow the same pattern as this westerly loop. In fact, it looks as though these red markings seem to follow a pattern that sits in between the loops. They do seem to track with the ore deposits that you're already aware of, and yet they don't follow the line of the loops. There appears to be some kind of connection, some correlation, but they seem to fall in between the ore deposits. And that was the last thing he edited.
Could be a map of the tunnels.
Waz shares all the data to everyone's devices and is like, divide and conquer, guys, because I don't know where to start.
Okay.
Can we map that onto our position, Jay? How?
You can. Yeah, you can. You can certainly. You could determine where you are in relation to this map. Yeah. Is that what you want to do?
Yeah. So if we can determine where we are in relation to the map, where we're sitting, and then see if any of these blooms or potential tunnels match up with the crevasse.
Okay. You find that they don't. And with your experience of studying tactical maps, Ormaganda, when you get a glance at this stuff, you not only do you identify, hang on a second, this crevasse is not marked in red on this map. It's not showing me this structure. You also realise this would make no sense as a tunnel network. It's not. They're not interconnected. They're almost like when I said veins, I suppose the implication is that there's kind of like a branching kind of layout. But think of it more like the veins of mold in blue cheese. They don't join up. They don't have a kind of a branch like tree-like structure. It's more like just streaks. Running through the crust of the moon, as far as you can tell. So
almost like cracks.
Yeah, cracks, or it's not a. You're not getting. Let's put it this way: you're not getting like anthill vibes from this. It wouldn't make any structural sense for it to be laid out.
Kind of
that
like.
way.
It's a weird comparison, but kind of like stretch marks. They don't quite meet up.
Yes,
like,
that's actually that's actually really good. Almost like a kind of uneven kind of ridges running between the loop-like ore deposits within the crust. That's quite a good analogy, yeah.
Well, I have no fucking idea what he's
Yeah,
doing.
bugger chaps.
What was the second most recent document that he edited? Just for curiosity.
Hang on, I need to consult my notes for this because we're going deeper into the Dr. Helsig's stuff.
I'm thinking we need to find whoever abducted Dr. Helsig and beat them till they tell us why they abducted him.
I mean, yeah, thinking about it, somebody's turned over his office. It's not like he's just been taken away by spiders. Spiders don't come and trash an office. So they've got an interest in scientific research.
I wonder what his last communications were as well. Like emails or anything. Surely they should be on the computer.
Yeah, can we check those, Jay? It's a good call.
Okay.
Will he have anything if the comms have been down, though?
We might see what he tried to send. As he
Yeah.
managed to send.
Drafts folder, maybe?
Sorry, Sam, are you clicking something or banging something?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
That's what I thought was faced with the stapler earlier.
That wasn't me tapping into the whole stapler thing. I was just thinking, so I was just doing that with my pen.
Getting in my head.
Yeah.
You do find a message. Conspicuously, Dr. Helsig has been scrubbing his messages. His outbox is empty, but for one message. It takes you a while to crack. There's an additional layer of encryption on this message, but you eventually, with your impressive hacking skills, Blaz, you do manage to crack it. The fact that this one message really stands out, and after a little while, you manage to convert it into readable common. It's to Otto. It's to the Callahan team. And it's a request for... Oh, wow, the music just stopped dramatically and I didn't even do anything. It's a request for help. It talks of his discovery. It talks of how he is starting to fear for his safety. He refers to the site with no further details, but clearly the discovery and the site are connected in some way. And he is requesting backup. He's not sure who to trust. And it's hard to gather much more from it, but he stumbled across something big. And you notice that the date stamp of this message is the same day that the comms block went into effect.
A bit before the comms block.
Sorry?
Is that right? It was in his outbox, so he managed to deliver it before the comms block.
Well, it looks like no. Hard to say because you don't know exactly when the comms block went in, but you know it was the same date.
Plus, we were sent out to help. I mean, not specifically help, but to investigate.
Yeah.
So that might
just kind of feels. Yeah, if Callahan had that email, though, it would have been good to have known a little bit more about what we were getting ourselves in for, rather than just go and see where he is.
Maybe we look through his notes and anything that mentions the site or the discovery.
Well, Oh, yeah, can we do like a search word in his documents folder? If you search a word, usually the document name comes up, doesn't it? Can you do that for us?
You can. You can, if that's what you want to do. If you want to filter his research by references to the site.
I feel like it's going to be very vague as much as everything else has been.
Okay.
But if we can get like a direction from the lab or I don't know, anything.
Well, let's think about this, right? Someone was hunting him, clearly.
Who
do we know? Who do we know? Right, so that's the point. We're going to have to go after someone because at this juncture, at least I can't think of any other leads we've got other than going for one of the people we've already met and seeing if they can give us further information. So we've got the twat administrator, Nix Maserata.
Yeah.
Who seems like the likely candidate, but, you know, that could be a bait and switch on the part of our venerable GM. We've got Dex Griffin, who was also a dick. I'm wondering if, I don't know, maybe Blaz can use his magic on Osha Rains, see if he can find out what more she knows. That might be the subtle way to do it. But either way, I think we have to... Basically, I think two choices. Either we return to the town and interrogate the people there, or try subtly, not physically interrogate, or we go for the hunter's site and see what we can scope out. Maybe not necessarily go in and pick a fight, but just see what they're up to. Maybe we just observe them.
Yeah, I say we
I like it.
Yeah.
James?
Covert ups.
I wonder why they're out on their own anyway. Why would they just not be in town?
Yeah. Okay, hunters it is. Yeah, agreed?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Okay, so to clarify, you want to head over to the... You want to grab the ass and head over to the hunter's camp. To
Stealthy like that.
To the northeast.
Should we leave face behind?
Of your current position.
We'll tie face up first. Yeah. No, yes, but stealth. So I guess we'll want to stop a sufficient distance away that we're not going to get picked up.
Yeah, turn the lights off.
I'm assuming Orbangander, with his military experience and training, will know the kind of distances where they'd have to basically hold up the ass so as not to be detected and then close in on foot.
Okay.
If we can find a good vantage point. Well, looking at the map,
you want to recon the hunters, rather than
exactly.
Understood. Not a problem. Okay.
I mean, so Nanashi's got a sniper rifle, which means she should be able to scope from a good distance and just give us get some eyes on.
Itchy trigger finger though.
Well, I mean, if she
know me so well.
Yeah, if she feels like just taking out Dex Griffin at long range, I'm not going to complain. Yeah, if we can just get eyes on, scope, do some recon.
Okay.
Yeah, all agree? Good plan.
Yeah.
So, you bundle up the. I'm presuming you're going to take the torches with you. You're going to take all the data from his computer. Do you do anything else in the lab before setting off?
Is it possible to lock it down in any way, Jay?
You could put the code back on. There's not much of a, it was a fairly low security code in the first place on the door.
The data on the computer, if somebody trashed his lab, potentially looking for something, would they maybe come back for the data? Can you lock it back up? I don't know.
I mean, if it took Baz that long to get through, I think it's sufficiently protected from a lot of people.
If I had time, Jay, I'd want to do some, and because I assume are there trees as well, or is it just completely flat?
It's pretty barren out here.
Oh, okay. I was hoping I could possibly do a little bit Rambo First Blood, sell loads of booby traps. But no, I think we'll leave the home alone for another time.
I think it'll be fine.
Okay, but I presume do you re-engage the encryption on the computer?
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. So I would presume then that you're driving.
Sure.
Okay. And Face, you're back on paragliding duty, I would guess.
Well, is
Rig him up.
in the car because there's another space in there now, right?
No, I can ski behind if you want to, because last time you ended up with frostbite, didn't you?
There are 3 seats, one of which is taken by she, one of which is taken by Blaz, and then yes, there is a spare seat.
Will I fit in there?
Give me that pen.
You could constrict yourself.
Okay, right.
We can
I'll
shoehorn
squeeze
you
in. It'll get uncomfortable, but I'll squeeze in. Can anyone change the size of my body? Is that a thing anyone can do?
Sadly not.
No, not yet.
Can I do
you
that?
do it?
Maybe.
Do you have contortionist abilities?
You can constrict yourself into a medium-sized space. That is something that you can do. You just gain the constricted whatever it is, condition when you do that. Okay. You make your way out back across the waste into the night of Cryonis 3. It's a fair old journey from the lab to the hunter's base, and as such, I think it's fair to say you all have a bit of time to try and digest some more of Dr. Helsig's notes. So what I'm going to allow you to do is each of you who aren't currently skiing, so Olmagander, I'm afraid you are concentrating on skiing at the time, and she is driving. I will let Blaz and Face give me a... I mean, this is a huge set of notes. There's a huge amount of data on this computer that you've pulled. I'll let you effectively enter a search term, something specific you want to screw down into in his notes to digest on your journey. You've got some time.
Okay.
So if you want to tell me what it really is you want to kind of focus on in your note research, then I will try and give you some more information. Little road trip reading.
Because of the notes I read before and all the electromagnetic gravity stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to learn about the site if I can and see if there's anything. I want to look more into that, see if he's got any predictions on whether it might happen a lot sooner than it was supposed to, or
Okay.
yeah, why the arachnoids might be like moving around, maybe because of the stuff that's been going on.
Okay. Yeah, Blaz, how about you?
Unusual behaviour in the arachnoids.
So I think in that case, what we'll do is we'll split it. So you're focusing on the arachnoid movements and their kind of current disposition, and Face, you're going to concentrate on the sort of discovery aspect and its connection to the kind of astro-navigational element of Helsig's research into Cryonis 3. That makes sense. Okay. So, Blaz. In fact, we'll go Face first. Face, you read into Dr. Helsig's research into the unusual orbital path and geological structures here on Cryonis 3. It has a highly irregular, largely very strung out elliptical, but it is quite regular. The fact that it's a binary system, Cryonis 3 takes an unusual route through its solar system over the course of several hundred years. And what you managed to determine is that you kind of already knew that Cryonis 3 didn't always look like this. It didn't always... it's undergone some fairly serious cataclysms as a result of its very unusual orbit. And what you start to realise is that part of whatever Dr. Helsig was so animated by, his discoveries, his perhaps whistleblowing on kind of, hang on a second, there's something we need to pay attention to here, is that the initial surveyors and prospectors who identified Cryonis 3 as a great site for mining had originally predicted that the next orbital maxima, which everybody seems to agree was the cause of the creation of the Horseshoe Mountains and this kind of geological intense period of activity. As the settlement, over the period of the settlement, just a few years, the real data that Dr. Helsig has been taking as a resident here has started to deviate more and more and more and more from those original models. And part of his discovery is realizing that there appears to be a connection between I have to work out just how much information to give here. The map that you found with information that didn't seem to make sense appears to indicate deposits of an element hitherto unknown, connected to the ore deposits, but not the ore. And what this strange element, and deposited in much smaller quantities than the ore itself. It's very rare in comparison to the ore. The ore is everywhere, but this seems to be a strange byproduct of the formation of the ore, found in much smaller quantities, rippled through the crust in between the ore deposits. Is a substance that, from his initial research, appears to affect the substance around its interaction with space-time. This element, this mineral, whatever you want to call it, seems to distort an object's mass and gravitational energy in a really fascinating way, a way that he's never seen before. And he's theorized that may well be why this moon is not traveling through its orbit the way everybody expected. As it travels through its orbit, its mass appears fluid. It seems to change over time. And he theorized that that's because of these planet-wide, rather large deposits of this incredibly unusual exotic material. He's clearly not got too far into it. It's a whole new area of research. But the red markings on the map indicate where he believes these elemental deposits can be found, and that the fact that that Cryonis 3 is laced with this exotic element may explain why the mass of the moon doesn't seem to tally with their initial predictions.
Okay.
So there you go.
Magic rocks.
There's some fucking magic rocks there, dude.
We need to go find some magic rock and see what it's all about.
And Blaz, your research into the Arachnoids shows that they gravitate towards areas of high concentrations of this ore, partly because they process it, they burrow into it, and it's part of their, almost like an earthworm consumes earth and it passes through it, aerates it, and they are interconnected. You can almost think of the Arachnoids acting in a similar way. They make their nests within the Horseshoe Mountains because that's the area of most concentrated ore, and it's an intimate part of their physiology. It makes up part of their bodies, and so normally this is why mining operations have been so safe up until recently, because the Horseshoe Mountains is obviously the biggest clump of this stuff around, and they're very happy up there in the mountains, and the treacherous terrain up in the mountains makes it actually not very suitable for mining anyway. You can't get large heavy transport up there. It's not the easiest place to mine, so it's been relatively safe to mine the loop that is left within the 100 or 2 meters below the surface, because it's not the biggest concentration of the ore around, and they're not going to get through it anytime soon. Their movements appear to be connected to what Face has been looking into. The fact that this orbital maxima appears to be approaching an awful lot quicker than anybody's models would have predicted, due to its unpredictable and unusual fluctuating mass and interaction with space-time, means that whatever form the Horseshoe Mountains is coming a hell of a lot quicker than anybody anticipated, and somehow, through whatever mechanism, the Arachnoids appear to be evacuating the Horseshoe Mountains, because, and Helsig is out on a limb on this one, he presumes that this is to do with whatever form those mountains is going to be happening again sooner rather than later, and they are getting clear. But still have to follow the ore deposits to carry out their biological functions. So they've been following the foothills and essentially following this loop. Eventually, of course, bringing them into contact with the miners on the northern and southern mines as they kind of work their way around this looped path. And that, it appears to be what's brought them into contact with the miners in a way that had never happened before. They're operating on a timeline that nobody ever could have predicted.
So the plan is
how's that
get
for you,
Clara
folks?
And get the fuck out of here. That is the plan, basically.
Sounds good to me.
Can we just take a moment just to appreciate how fucking deep I've gone on the lore of this goddamn moon?
It's very,
It's impressive.
I'm done now.
exceptional.
I'm done now.
Bravo.
It's only a
Don't
tiny
kill
corner
anyone
of it
else.
as well. There's more. I feel you can ask some follow-up questions. I reserve the right not to answer them. But is there anything that, like, as you're reading this, you're specifically going, "Oh, hang on a second, what about?" And I'll decide whether or not you got time to work that out.
If space-time is different in these little inside of the planet, does that mean time would pass differently there?
One would only presume, but Helsig's barely scratched the surface of the properties of this element, but it certainly appears to warp it certainly appears to warp. It's almost like, if the Higgs boson is what gives substance mass, it fucks with that, right? So, and in large enough deposits, moon-wide, it means that whatever you thought this moon weighed, it kind of seems to depend in ways he hasn't managed to quite work out yet.
So it doesn't depend on how close it is to the sun, or to whatever it's orbiting around.
I mean, gravitational forces are all interact. I mean, and actually, it doesn't appear to affect time as much, to answer your question, Shi, because obviously it takes a huge amount more mass to distort space-time to the point where the time dilation effects become noticeable on a kind of day-to-day human mortal scale. So it seems to have a more profound impact on mass, and you would have to have a massive impact on mass to create really, really tangible time dilation effects. So it's not like if you went towards a kilo of this stuff, a century would take a day or shit like that. It's like it's more that you had a kilo of this stuff and the surrounding ton of stone just wouldn't weigh right. But you multiply that out planet wide, and those effects start to become quite serious. Certainly in relation to kind of orbital mechanics. Make sense?
Seems like this is the stuff we need to make the bomb out of.
Just blow the planet up. That'll fix it.
2 seconds. By the way, welcome in, Def Jeff. Greetings. You'll hopefully notice that you have an NPC named after you. I've been subtly naming NPCs in this game after subscribers and good friends of the channel. So your NPC name is Dex Griffin. And thank you very, very much for that resub, Don Dark. Very appreciated. Claw bump for you, my friend. Okay. So, a useful drive. Hopefully that gives you a little bit more to chew on. It's a good few hours drive, and thankfully the cover of night allows you to post up alongside the hunter camp. The freelancers who've been brought in by the mine administrator. And yeah, you as you approach the coordinates that you've got for the hunter's camp, you key off the engine of the ass and work out what your next move. And I think actually that is probably a good place for a couple of minutes break. A little bit early, but we're going to take a couple of minutes break. So have a little think about how you want to approach this hunter camp, what you want to achieve. We're going to take a quick ad break. I'm going to grab another beer, and when we come back, the crew are going to work out how they're going to approach this situation, what they're looking for, what they're hoping to get out of it with their newfound knowledge. Well, there you go. You've got an ad break to work it out, Fish. So yeah, we're going to take a few minutes break. We're back in a few, and yeah, don't go anywhere unless it's to the fridge to get some beer and some popcorn as we move into the second half of this week's episode. Thanks for joining us, and we're back in a mo. You've had a chance to have a bit of a think. You've posted up outside of the hunter camp, and as you pick your way through the night, you manage to find a small outcropping. The foothills are returning as you head back east towards the settlement, and you find a convenient vantage point to look out over the hunter camp, positioned as it is in between pretty much between the comms tower and the landing pads where the Rusty Mustang is currently docked. You can make out in the distance a lit area made up of what look like space shipping containers. It's another prefab settlement, smaller this time than the main mining settlement. There's not much movement down there. There are a few vehicles, and part of the camp is lit up by a fire. Through She's scope, you can make out that the fire is burning using the bodies of felled arachnoids as fuel, and a thin haze of dark smoke licks its way round the small settlement. There are a few floodlights illuminating the centre of the settlement, and you see a few people, not many, a small handful, keeping watch. Sentries. That's what you see so far. Oh, and thank you very much for that gift sub, Don Dark. I appreciate that. By the way, Don Dark, you at some point will obviously become an NPC. If you want to hit me up in Discord and let me know what kind of NPC you would like to see yourself embodied as, I would be only too happy to accommodate. So if there's a character you'd like to see yourself as, feel free to drop that either in a DM or a message into general, and I will take it under advisement, because it's about damn time the Space Don Darks only makes an appearance in this campaign, I would say. Especially with that epic 69 nice gift subs. Wild. Anyway. Party. What you doing? Your mic is...
there we
go.
Whether or not we're allowed to go and shoot people.
Okay. Ormangander's next to Nanashi, like, spotter, so he's got an arm around her and he just whispers, no sniping, No fucking sniping.
Not fair.
Yeah, we just watch until we... I think it makes sense for us to just observe, see what's happening. If we see Dr. Helsig, if we see anything which might prompt us to act, then we can act, and then you can snipe away to your heart's content and blow Mr. Griffin away. But
I guess it would be good to try and figure out exactly how many of them are there.
Yeah, numbers, weaponry, capabilities first.
Okay.
Very tactical.
How far away are we from the camp, Jay, would you say?
A few hundred yards.
Okay.
You're protected at the moment by the night. Of course, you have had to park the ass a little ways away. The motors of the ass would it's not built for stealth. You would most definitely have to leave that behind. So you've made your way on foot or claw to your vantage point. That does mean, however, with us being in the middle of the night, the temperatures have plunged. I'm going to need you all to make a quick saving throw with a DC of, I seem to remember it was 14 last time, and it was bear with me 2 seconds and I'll just double check what type of saving throw it was. I think it was
Fortitude.
It was a fortitude throw, yeah, and it was a DC. It's middle of the night. So DC 15, please. Fortitude saving throw.
15.
Yes, please.
That's what I rolled. I rolled a 15.
Oh, okay. Yep. Meet it and beat it. Lovely.
24.
Lovely. 12. Okay.
I'm gonna have cold feet.
You are gonna have cold feet.
Can Ormungand, don't take this the wrong way, Nanashi. Can Ormungand, because he's...
I will knife you.
Because he's fine, he can just hug her. Give her some of his lizard warm.
Blaz, Blaz, how did your constitution... No, sorry, your fortitude save go?
I'll let you know when I find it.
Okay.
Four.
Okay.
I didn't anticipate the party dying frostbite. Should have thought this through.
I wish I could remember what condition you guys earned. I will have to look that up. I'll do that now. But yeah, you and she, Blaz and she, are definitely feeling the cold, and it's seeping into your bones.
Get back to the car, guys, and I'll keep spotting, basically.
No.
I don't think she's...
Unless my leg's gonna fall off.
Why can I not find in my notes?
That's a good point, actually. I would not leave him my sniper rifle.
Just leave me the scope.
We'll see.
What if she needs to snipe someone?
From the car. Or she's suffering from chilblains. Don't think that's going to happen.
Up close, through a window. A scopeless sniper rifle. I am that good.
I don't know if you've got iron sights as well, man.
I don't know, actually.
Sorry, I'm desperately trying to find my... what it was you suffer from when you're very cold.
Those who've been following my dice rolls, I did roll a 17.
Is that good?
It was a joke of James's that I kept rolling 17s, and I genuinely think this dice tends to roll 17.
There we go.
That's spooky.
I can't believe I forgot it. It was only on page 400 of the rulebook. I'm not exaggerating. Literally page 400.
The thing is, Ali, apart from casino dice aren't actually, they're not really random. They're all sort of slightly balanced.
I'm gonna need you.
Really?
I'm gonna need you both to take 1d6 non-lethal cold damage.
It's not too bad.
So she and Blaz, if you can roll a d6
Ow.
for me.
Okay, sorry.
And you can find a dice roller at the very top of her vice dice.
It's not working, sorry.
It's okay. That's all right. You can.
I can't work it. I'm so sorry.
There's a little D20 symbol next to the cog at the very top right hand of Hephaestus. If you click on that, it'll bring down a dice roller. And just.
I clicked on the D6 and it's not doing anything.
It will say a number 1 next to the D6 and then hit the little 2 dice icon below it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to roll one of those.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, you can do that in the meantime. So I'll fill you in on what.
Oh, 2! I got a 2.
Okay, so if you
Sorry.
it's fine. If you can take that from your.
It was my cuddling that stopped you from being injured further.
If you can take that from your stamina points. And Blaz, if you can do the same. 4. Okay.
See? Lizard cuddle. Half damage.
I'm keeping the sniper rifle.
I thought these things smell bad on the outside. Okay. As you overlook the camp, you can make out. There's not a huge amount of movement. Largely, it appears people have gone to bed. But by the light of the Arachnoid corpse fire and the floodlights, you make out there appear to be 4 moving in shifts, sentries, moderately armoured, moderately armed. Difficult to see at this range exactly what they are armed with, but they seem to be the foot soldiers of the camp. You don't see. Sorry, go ahead.
We know what race they are.
The foot soldiers are human. You very briefly see Dex Griffin, leader of the hunters, move from one of the cabins to another cabin. You also see one other hunter. From their interactions with the foot soldiers, you get the impression that they are further up the pecking order. They are carrying they're a hefty sort, a little bit difficult to make out the race, but not non-human. Bit difficult to make out at this distance, but a larger figure, decked in more ornate armor, fairly chunky figure, and they are packing a pretty large long arm. And you can, even from this distance, you can vaguely make it out because it emanates the telltale sign of a flame weapon. Pretty hefty thing, and you can only assume are tanks of fuel on its back. Chunky boy with a big gun. But they also disappear into one of the cabins, leaving 2 sentries making the rounds around the camp. A few of the cabins are lit. There is one larger cabin that appears to have stores outside. Again, hard to tell what it is from this distance, but it doesn't seem like a residential. Doesn't seem like any of the team's cabins. Very little movement going in and out of it, and fenced-in stores around the sides. And there is a small, darkened hemispherical hab module. A little further away towards the back of the settlement, I would say there are two of the mid-sized modules you see some light emanating from. Everywhere else is dark.
How big is the small one?
About the size of a like a kind of a 4 to 6 man dome tent.
Okay. It's not that small. Thoughts, people?
Would people have to live in a hab in order to survive out there? Is that right? Is it that cold? Or would they be able to kind of survive in the cabins?
All of the structures are made of similar materials that you've seen in the main settlement. It would be a fair assumption to say that all of these modules would be habitable.
Difficult. It'd be good to try and work out how many there are. In terms of what we've seen, is that 5 or 6?
You can see. Hang on a second.
Dex, 4 guards.
You can see 7 mid-sized modules, kind of like 40-foot shipping container types, very similar to the ones that you've seen in town. You can see the larger one, which I would say is probably about the same as 3 or 4 of those bolted together towards the centre of the settlement, but kind of they're almost in like a horseshoe pattern.
So it's not a small settlement.
It's
quite big.
Decent size.
Yeah. Okay.
So we can assume there's at least 15-ish people here.
Depends if they're doubling up. It's hard to say.
What time of night is it?
You're getting into the wee hours now. You're probably the equivalent, the terrestrial equivalent of maybe sort of 2-3 in the morning.
Not really a sociable time to be going down and saying, "Hey guys, we've got questions about X, Y, and Z." Might look a bit strange, maybe.
I know we have the ass, obviously, the good old ass.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if maybe the settlement has like a mole, like a digging vehicle that we could maybe get down to help Clara with.
Vehicle-wise, there are a couple of ass-like sort of ATV general-purpose vehicles. There is a larger, more armoured sort of tracked vehicle. You can see the what appear to be 1 or 2 weapon emplacements. Again, hard to read exactly what they're equipped with, but certainly a beefier machine. And there are a couple of tarped over shapes that your time in Absalom would lead you to believe they look speeder bike-esque shaped. They're tarped over to the side of the larger building.
Nothing capable of digging or flying.
You don't see any drilling equipment.
Just thinking about it, they've been brought on to get rid of the spiders. That's essentially they're friendly. I mean, I'm saying this, I want to shoot them. I don't like Dex, and Dex is a dick. But we kind of, on what we've seen, we have to make the assumption that they're friendly. It would be a logical thing to go and speak to them. Personally, I don't think they're friendly. And I want to shoot Dex in the head, but...
To be honest, I think instead of killing all the arachnoids, what we should really be doing is evacuating the planet. And instead of these hunters being out here, I mean, it probably seemed like a good idea when they thought they had time and they were just protecting their mines, but it seems like they're going to have to leave the mines pretty soon anyway. So if we can just gather up Clara,
actually, yeah, the hunters would probably welcome news that they could potentially be in danger. we have high level information we could share on, theoretically, if they're friendly. And if they're not friendly, we'd find out by going down there.
Yeah.
If they're not friendly, we're very heavily encumbered. Problem. And you'd want to, if they're not friendly, even up the odds from up here and then go down. This is the kind of catch-22 we're in.
As much of a dick Nix is, he did tell the hunters that we would be dropping by, right?
Did he say he would?
Nix told you that he had notified the hunters that you would be on your way over at some point, yeah.
Maybe that's why there's all the sentries, though.
So, well, I mean, I doubt they are gonna just straight out fight us, because they are under the employ of Nix, and I'm sure he wouldn't want one of his benefactors.
Would Nix give a damn if anything happens to us out here on the ice, and he gets rid of people who are looking into business which he clearly wants to keep concealed?
Right? I mean, all this rich man, he's probably got people higher up on his chain than us that could definitely come here and there'd be consequences. So I don't think he would kill us. I don't think
that's not going to help. Yeah, but that's not going to help us if we're all dead. Right?
I mean, look, if you want to just go in and eat their heads, then we can try it.
I'm suggesting that if we're going to go after anyone, we should go after Nix, because he's the weak link. Yeah? We go to him, we show him the data, and go, okay, what's going on? I think the answer to this is back at the settlement, not here. Or at least...
I don't think Nix will know any more than we do. I don't know why.
We still need to we still need a way to get down into the tunnels as well and find out where Clara's gone.
I think we have to follow the spiders almost. Follow the mines maybe. But given that there's so many, could do with narrowing it down. I guess if we split up and some of us could go to the hunter camp and just kind of play it like, oh, we came out into the snow to investigate and we lost our vehicle and our friend disappeared and we don't actually know any information, just like, I don't know, play almost like, I don't know, it's not shooting them. But yeah, half of us could do that. And then try and sneak around the camp maybe and find stuff out. And the other half would go to town and talk to Nix. What do you reckon? Either that or I shoot Dex in the head.
I genuinely don't know. I don't know what to do. James, any ideas?
Laz just looks at she and is like, yeah, go on then.
Right.
I mean, if you are, if you want to have a stealth, you can always have a stealth about. You are a stealthy type.
I could go down there and check it out.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, actually. Okay.
Okay. So Snarder Panda
What's
is
your-
well
what
on board
is
with
your
the shooting
stealth,
Dex
G?
plan, but never listen to chat. We know this.
What is your stealth sheet?
Well.
12.
Mhm. Oh,
Yeah.
plus 12. My stealth is plus 12.
Yeah. You go down. You sneaky.
It's just such a big. Yeah. Okay. Sneaky.
Maybe the one thing that might be worth doing is sneaking about and seeing if you can see into any of these capsules, because potentially maybe this is where Dr. Helsig has ended up.
Yeah,
We know that's where Dr. Helsig's ended up. We know these are the bad guys, and we can start planning how to take them out, or at least rescuing Dr. Helsig. Yeah.
Okay. Look around for any sign that they're the bad guys, and don't get caught by all the many of them.
Look around for Dr. Helsig.
Great.
Don't get caught.
I'm writing a list.
Don't bring base with you.
No.
You're staying with me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
So for my edification here, you are going to slip into the night and attempt to close the distance on the settlement, and do some close quarters recceing. Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe, Ormanganda, if you could look after my rifle, just briefly. And my sniper rifle, look after it. If you kept an eye on the scope, maybe if I was roaming into the wrong place, could drop a quiet comms. I don't know how quiet the comms get.
Yeah, okay, so I'll provide Overwatch for Nanashi and just sort of look ahead of her and around just to see, and then I'll relay information to her so that her situational awareness is better.
Okay, Overwatch and man in the chair duties to go to Ormanganda. The rest of you, Blaz and Face, what's your plan while she sneaks up on this settlement?
I'm just thinking about what I can do to help, or like.
Sure thing.
Would there be any merit to splitting this up?
I don't think so, not at this juncture. And also think about how much of a trek it's going to be back to the settlement.
Yeah, with no
standing out here, yeah.
Blaz, how about you? Are you going to attempt to stealth down there also? Are you going to stay up here on the ridge? What's your thinking?
Yeah, I'll try and get close.
Okay. So we're going to sort of trail she?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So comms turned down to minimum volume. You stealthily slip down the incline towards the settlement. You're coming at it from the side, so think of it like a horseshoe. You're approaching from the side. At the sort of top of the curve is the larger module. You have the other 7, I think I said, wasn't it? Coming down the sides, and if there's 4 on one side and 3 on the other, on the near side to where you are right now, looking top down to the kind of left of the larger module is the small domed module. So you've got like dome, 3 middles, big and 4 middles, kind of coming down like an upturned U shape. I hope that kind of helps you kind of.
So spatial awareness. So this isn't.
Okay, and you're coming down on the 3 middles and the dome side. How do you want to approach this? Where are you eyeing up first?
So where are we thinking it's most likely, if they had Dr. Helsig, that they would keep in one of the domed buildings?
Cage appropriate for his size with a water bottle.
Yeah.
Like a hamster cage.
So you're heading towards the domed module?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay.
Obviously there are 2 sentries positioned towards the center of the horseshoe. I'm going to need you to roll me, first of all, can you roll me a stealth check, please?
Alright, my laptop's bigger than my screen, you can't see. 30. Jesus Christ, why is it 30? That's a lot.
30. You
30.
are a ghost.
18 plus 12.
Despite your propensity for black clothing, even against the pure white of the snow, you're a shadow slipping across the tundra. It would be easy to mistake you for the flickering shadow of one of the stacks of cargo crates that are sort of dotted around the place, flickering in the Arachnoid corpse fire. you're a fucking ghost, and you make your way in directly to the small domed hab module. The sentries are absolutely none the wiser. While she's doing that, Blaz, are you staying in lockstep behind her? Are you allowing her to approach first, hanging kind of? Are you splitting the distance, or what are you doing?
Stepping where she steps, and I rolled a 23 for my stealth.
Very nice. So you two, as a pair, as a team, sidle up. The sentries are unaware, still staring out towards the waist. So they seem distracted maybe by the fire, but yeah, they had no chance of picking you up there. Impressive stuff. You make your way to the small domed hab module. Unlike all of the other modules, there are kind of portholes that you can see, small hatchways, small windows on the mid-sized modules, but this one has none until you make your way round to the small hatch to the front of the module. It is locked. There is an electronic keypad on the front.
Do you want to give it a go, Blaz?
I will say there is a small porthole in the hatch itself, but as you peer through, you only see the light of the fire flickering in. It's really too hard to make out what's inside.
The lock. Well, electronically pick the lock. Hack the lock. What do you think?
Is there any way for you to illuminate that and look into there without first picking the lock, James?
Ah, yeah.
I'm fresh out of feminine hygiene products.
It's always the way. This is why we need to remove VAT. Give me that computer's check then, please, Plaz.
Oh, that is a nat 1.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go get the car going. I'm gonna go get the ass running.
Oh.
Yeah, go and get the ass running.
I have a feeling.
Ormungandr chambers around into the rifle.
So glad I left you that rifle.
The keypad lets out in the quiet of the night. As you put in the wrong code, there is it goes, and it feels like it feels like 1,000 decibels to you. Both give me a stealth check immediately, please.
Six.
20.
Okay.
Someone's about to get captured by a different group.
Oh man.
Run, guys, run.
Blaz proceeds to trip up on a banana that just happens to be there and headbutt the capsule.
Okay, the two sentries start making their way. They hear the chiming. They're far enough away that they don't immediately spot you. But they hear the sound. They turn and start making their way over in the direction of the sound in fairly short order. What do you guys do?
If they're distracted with that sound, can we go over to another building?
I mean, you tell me what you're doing. What you want to do.
Nurse turns to she and says, hide, and then lays down in the snow, clutching his chest, and just not moving.
Oh, nice.
I like that.
Clutching it.
Okay.
Okay. So you just
I'm gonna
drop
hide behind-
you drop prone
Yeah.
at the doorway. I just want to get this straight in my own head, because I'm not...
Flat on his back, one hand clutching his staff still, the other hand on his chest, and staring with unblinking lenses up into the sky.
Okay.
Not moving a muscle.
She, what do you do?
Okay. I take his advice and run around the side of the building and hide.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure what he has planned next, though. So.
Ormanganda, get on comms to She. Ask her what that noise was. What was that?
Okay, hang on. With your stealth check, She, you do manage to slip back into the night in short order. I'll let you have that. The two sentries approach, and as soon as they see Blaz's prone body, they're looking around, and they pull up their weapons and start inching towards Blaz, on alert. They have their weapons drawn on you, Blaz, and are now within 10 feet. Who goes there?
Doesn't move.
Sorry, Blaz.
Blaz doesn't move.
They shuffle closer and just poke at your body with their boot, like kind of looking around nervously and like testing for signs of life. It's a pretty stern steel toe cap to the ribs for you, Blaz.
Blaz mumbles like a drunkard. Help me.
Can we hear the comms?
You are too far. You're too far out. So Blaz didn't activate his comms before this happened. She is currently lurking behind another module, stealthily. She's not been spotted. You up on the ridge have seen the sentries make Blaz. You can make out kind of what's going on, but you can't hear this interaction. Just RP for me what's going up on the ridge quickly.
Face is like, obviously seen Blaz fall over, and then the guys go over to them. I just really want She on comms to tell us what happened. 'Cause I've got a plan, but I don't want to meta game as well.
Ormanganda looks away from the scope, raises an eyebrow and goes, "Looks like Blaz is doing a face."
I get on comms to Ormanganda immediately and say, Blaz has done a face.
Okay, guys.
A few seconds. This is all taking place in a few seconds.
I've got a plan.
Yeah, good.
She stay hidden. Me and Ormanganda, we go get the ass, right? And then we come in on the ass and we're like, "Oh, have you seen our friend? He got lost in the tundra. We've been looking for him. Have you seen him?" And then maybe that's, we can get in and we can pass it off that they weren't trying to break it.
Good plan. Okay, She, I'll leave the rifle in position for you. We'll do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, that's...
Guys, just wondering, is it worth... They haven't spotted me, so while everyone's distracted, is it worth me looking in a few more buildings?
Yep, do it.
If you can. If you can't, then sneak back to the sniper.
Okay, so the two guards are like, get on the PCUs, and it's like, so we have an intruder. And all of a sudden, they flick a switch on their PCUs, and the floodlights of the settlement come on. The area around the modules is lit up. You are still concealed in the shadow of one of the modules. You are still, at the moment, undiscovered. But not only does the settlement, but the sort of 100 yards or so around the settlement is lit up daylight style. An alarm, an electronic siren chimes. and there is a bustle of activity. All of a sudden, the two sentries are joined by 2 more sentries, and the doors of all of the hab modules start to open, and people emerge. You are confronted by the sight of Dex Griffin strides out of his residential hab. So does the large alien that you saw earlier with the hastily strapping on his flame rifle. You see a tall, slender, dark-featured alien stride out from their hab module. Everybody's tugging on their armor and weapons and flying into action stations. The center of the settlement becomes a hub of activity, and from the ridge, and well, everyone basically sees at least 8. Including the 2 sentries, 8 figures gathering in the square. Dex Griffin strides over to Blaz's body.
Looks like one of those outsiders. You. Head up to the gates.
The sentries disperse into tactical defense patterns. They start setting up a perimeter. Everybody is on high alert. And he gestures to the 2 sentries who discovered Blaz. It's like,
bring him inside.
They scoop up your limp form, Blaz, and start carrying you to the larger module and to at the peak of the horseshoe. What are you doing at this point? Are you still playing dead hard at this point?
Playing dead.
Okay. Obviously, your staff is left in the snow. One of the taller, darker featured alien picks it up and starts examining it, and follows Dex and the 2 sentries and you into the larger module. Chaps, what are you doing up there on the ridge?
I say we get to the ass as quick as possible, and we formulate a plan of what we're going to say to these guys when we get there.
Okay. Right. So you guys, you take off, leap into action stations yourselves.
We'll move slowly back. We don't just get up and run off. We'll sort of so we'll essentially we're lying down.
Yeah, we want a safe distance.
We move back pro till we're behind the ridge. We're covered, and then we'll pull back to the ass. I'll leave that sniper rifle in position.
Okay.
In the snow. Okay.
You remain undiscovered. You slink back into the night and hightail it to the ass as quick as you can without blowing your cover. She, what are you doing at this moment?
I am looking for the nearest building window so that I can take advantage of the fact that everyone's distracted and take a look inside the buildings.
I mean, everyone is distracted. I will say that everyone is distracted by a sudden incursion into the camp. Their heads are on the swivel. So it's not like, I'll tell you now, it's not like everybody floods to the main building and goes, we've got the guy, and like, everyone is like looking out to the perimeter. So you are battle hardened enough to know that making your way from module to module right now is like, it doesn't matter how good your stealth is, you're gonna get clocked.
Okay.
Everyone is essentially, the people who aren't immediately involved in scooping up Blaz and taking into the main module are now establishing a ring, looking outwards, looking for any other signs of intruders or trouble. Frankly, it takes all of your stealthy skills to remain undetected at this point.
I, if I can, I'm going to make my way back. Yeah, and I will take over on the rifle in case it all goes south when you guys go in.
Give me another stealth check on your way back to the rifle.
31.
You are just a wraith. Yeah, you're back up that hill. They're looking around. They don't even see your footprints. It's like you flew back there. It's quite something. Okay, so you disappear back into the night after your colleague was made. Meanwhile, Blaz is still playing dead. This is the point, of course, where it becomes incredibly useful to have augmented eyes. There's no blinking. There's no REM. You are dragged into the larger module and hauled up onto it. It appears to be like a commissary, a canteen, a storeroom, just general all-purpose space, and even you daren't engage your augmented eyes to look around, but just from the sound of the your senses are pretty attuned, and just from the sound of entering the space, you can kind of hear it's a larger room. You can you didn't detect any sounds within the room when you entered. You're just tracking the sounds of the people who are the 2 sentries who are dragging you, and the sound of Dex issuing orders. You are deposited onto a sizable metal table towards the centre of the room, perhaps 20 feet in. Meanwhile, Ormaganda and Face have beeline back to the ass, start her up, and start heading as quickly as possible towards the settlement under ass power. Unless, of course, you do something different.
How long did it take us to get to the ass?
It's only a few minutes. I mean, you've been fucking motoring to get back to the vehicle. I mean, everyone's in action stations, so you've been legging it while they've been manhandling.
I feel like it would be suspicious if we turned up too soon.
Yeah, it's a good call.
So if we tell She that we're gonna wait 5 minutes.
Yep.
And then we'll come
longer.
Yeah, we'll come rolling to the gate, the front gate.
So what's our story?
We say we lost. We got separated from our guy, and we've been searching for him for hours.
Wait, yeah. How though?
A blizzard.
They would have seen a blizzard probably.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been traveling for literally a whole day. Like,
So Jay, what's the climate been like on our transit to the lab? Yeah.
I mean, could they see a blizzard at midnight? Like,
we could use it for that.
What if he's been out on reconnaissance? Yeah. Not all of us together. We haven't been separated, and he hasn't come back. Like, rather than saying we were out. Yeah. Say, I tell you what, we'll play into it. So we'll go. 2 of our colleagues went out on reconnaissance because obviously Clara's missing too. Yeah. So we keep as close to the truth as possible, and we don't know where they are, and we're looking for them. We've done a circuit. We've been out along the road towards Epsilon. We haven't been able to find anything. They were supposed to be reconnoitering towards Epsilon. We're swinging by to see if they've had any contact with any of our party. They've just disappeared.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Sounds plausible.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because if we say it's separated, then it's going to be like, well, how did you get separated? What were you doing? Yeah?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah?
And because we've been out all night, I
keep
guess
it simple.
Wait a minute, now what were they looking for? Yeah, so we'll say that they were following a lead regarding sightings of arachnoids near the Epsilon mine. We'll go with that. We'll see what happens. We'll play it by ear. That's all I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay.
You talking Face because you're the charismatic one, and I'll just look big. I think the guy with the flamer is probably also a Vesk. So at some point, he and I are probably gonna have to tangle. Put a pin in that one.
I was hoping it would be a Vesk, but we'll see. As we've got a solid plan, so we wait a little bit of time, and then we head on over to the front gate.
Yeah, but with like lights, no conceal.
Yeah, lights on.
We tearing it up
slowly.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Okay. While you are coming up with your plan, Blaz, you are still playing unconscious on the metal table in the let's call it the I don't know what you call it, general module. Let's call it the general module. And you can hear three voices. Dex Griffin, who you had met before at the comms tower. And the sound of the two sentries who dragged you in there. The other party in the room is quiet for now.
It's one of those outsiders. I found him up at the comms tower a couple of days ago. What the hell is he doing out here?
I don't know. We were on patrol and he was just lying in the snow.
You didn't see him make his way in?
No, we heard a sound and we found him.
Go and fetch the med kit.
You hear the sound of scuffling feet and hatch opening and closing. Are you reacting it in any way, Blaz?
As softly groans and kind of weakly reaches a hand out upwards. I have to tell.
Nice. Okay. Sorry, I still have to remind myself of everything in this game. Can you please... What's this gonna be? This is
bluff.
It feels like a bluff, doesn't it? Yeah. Give me a bluff check, please.
Can't roll any worse.
Why would you say
3.
that?
3.
Like Dex.
The theme of this episode is the number 3.
Dex, you hear the creak of leather as Dex slowly leans in to you, and you feel his the rough skin of the back of his hand come in contact with your cheek, and he's like,
he ain't even...
Blast casts Jolt.
Jolt? Hang on a sec. Right, Jolt. What does Jolt do? Because I can't remember what Jolt does. Oh, man.
Buckload of electric damage.
Okay.
Shooty.
I love it. James has just gone totally off the reservation.
Okay.
I'm down for it. I'm down.
Jesus. Right.
Sensing that his careful ruse was not eliciting intelligence that he required and that he was about to be uncovered when a medkit was retrieved, and that his bluffing about wanting to tell someone something was not going to be believed, Blaz thought, fuck this, you can't roll any better, better just enter combat.
To be fair, you did take cold damage from the freezing temperatures earlier, so I thought that might have helped your case, but clearly
that's true.
Really not.
I mean, guys cast Jolt. So cast Jolt. What does it do damage? Holy shit. I was not prepared. I was not prepared for this week in the slightest. There were so many ways it could have gone.
I remind myself how many
I'm stressed.
Would this count as a surprise attack?
Dex is fucking hard as well.
Touch a target and requiring... Does this require a melee attack given that you touched me?
If literally all you're doing is electrifying your body, I would say no. Like, I'll let you have it because you've just picked quite a serious fight. So I'll let you have it. You might need it.
He might not know it. It could be anything. He might not be starting a fight.
Yeah, he wouldn't know necessarily, right?
I guess we'll find out.
You could be malfunctioning. Oh, you could be malfunctioning. Like your eye.
Yeah.
I mean, It's this could, I don't know, put him on his arse. I need to use owlbear because I don't have this many d6s.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
You can do it. You can do it in a 5-stars. You can just keep adding them, right? How many d6s is it?
It's 4 d6s.
Yeah, you can just click on the d6 4 times, and it'll add in a top little
Oh,
bubble. Yeah.
right, okay, I'm with you. Yeah. That makes sense. All together, that is 14 points of electrical damage.
Ooh.
14 points, eh? Okay, bear with me. Holy cow. Okay, Dex reaches in the back of his hand to feel the coldness of your skin as he makes contact. A blue crackle of electrical energy ripples out of your face, your literal face, and launches Dex across the room. He clatters into a table and chairs, some storage boxes in the corner, and is as he crashes through them, he's vaguely steaming. The sentries. There's one sentry and one other NPC in the room. You hear the sound of weapons being drawn. You hear the crash of Dex. This all happens in an instant. Blaz, what are you doing now?
Leaps off the table, as if he's super fucking freaked out. It's like, oh, the spiders! Where are the spiders? Fuck, what happened?
Give me that bluff check. Give me another bluff check.
Please, God.
I feel like he should have an
19.
19? Right, hang on.
19.
Thank God.
I need to check something here. It's a good roll.
I feel like he should definitely have some sort of advantage for this.
I've 19. Okay.
This is what happens when Clara isn't playing.
I know, right? The steady hand at the tiller's gone for this week. You can sense it, can't you?
I tried really hard.
You did. I saw it, mate. I saw it. Okay. Okay, with a 19, everyone is still surrounding you. As you snap open your augmented eyes, you see Dex pulling himself to his feet, like he's pissed, and he's quite a big boy. Like he's a human, but like just everything about him oozes danger. He pulls himself up out of the clutter and the mess. The sentry looks nervous and is flashing back and forth, looking between Dex and you, like doesn't know what to do. And the other character in the room also has his weapon drawn and pointed at you, and is also glancing to Dex for directions.
And that's when we turn up.
How long would it be? In a few minutes? Let me have a think about the timeline of this.
Yeah, I think we might be a bit later than this.
I was gonna say he might have to hold his own a little bit longer, I think. And it's like Dex is like,
What the fuck was that?
the sentry's like, Sir, what do you want me to do? And the other character in the room, this kind of slightly ratty looking human, is like,
You want me to take him, boss?
Dex kind of gathers himself and is like,
What are you doing here?
Baz is still freaking out. Where the fuck are the fucking spiders? What happened? How did I get here?
okay. The sentry and the ratty looking human bundle in and grab you. And slam you back against the table, like sort of trying to hold you in place. And it's like,
Take it easy, man.
You don't understand, there were hundreds. Let me go. Where are we?
Dex strides across the room, stalks across the room, and looms over you. still electrical. There's an air of static around him. The air feels like ionized as he walks towards you, and he's like, "What are you doing here, son?" Gets right up in your mush.
Where the fuck is here?
As this conversation takes place, hear the distant rumble of engines, and a crackle comes over Dex's comms.
Sir, we got a vehicle coming in.
Hold him here. And he strides out the room. Now there are 2 more sentries who appear from another module outside. As you guys are trundling into town, she can see all this from her scope on the ridge. There are now 4 sentries outside. There is the heavy weapon, flame rifled alien of still as yet unknown origin, and the tall, dark-featured, kind of lanky, sinewy alien, and they are directing sentries who are taking up defensive positions in a row across the entrance to the horseshoe as the ass comes trundling down the slope towards the settlement. What are you doing at this point in time? You have seen Blaz be taken inside the general module. You saw a electric blue flash emerge through temporarily lighting up the area outside the module through the windows, through the hatch, and you see the two aliens and 4 sentries scattering into defensive positions, drawing their rifles as the ass winds its way towards the settlement. What are you doing?
Ormagana and Face, do they know about the electrical incident?
They do
Are
not.
we still on comms?
They do not.
Oh,
and
okay.
Jolt, if Blaz never managed to open a comms line, so they are unaware. They may have seen the flash, and I'll tell you what. I'll allow you to roll perception, both of you, to see if you saw the flash through the windows.
Well, that is not good.
14.
8.
No, you did not see the flash.
Okay, so I'm going to hop on comms and say, guys, so I saw through my scope that the building that Blaz got taken into, it just kind of crackled with electricity, so I don't think things are going particularly well. You might want to bear that in mind when you go in. And she is basically just fixing the scope of her rifle, so it is going in and out and lining up where everybody is and finger on the trigger ready to go.
Okay, you're painting targets up on the ridge. Chaps, as you drive the ass down the slope towards the centre of the settlement, your headlights illuminate 4 armed guards, all with their weapons pointed directly at you. A large alien with a pretty hefty-looking weapon also pointed at you. On one side, licks of flame emanating from the end of it, and a tall, rangy alien also with a weapon drawn, pointed in your direction. You are about 50 yards away. What do you do?
I say we stop, get out with our hands up.
Well, drive a slow down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, slow down.
Stop about 20 yards out, I guess.
Yeah, turn the lights off because we don't need them now.
Well, no, yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough. And then as Connor said, we'll step out but looking quizzical.
Yeah, just getting out.
Looking slightly confused, but hands not up, but in a non-threatening gesture.
Yeah, and then hello.
Hold it right there! Who are you? What are you doing here?
We're looking for our friend.
Well, no, maybe we should say who we are first.
I'm gonna insist we do this in RP. That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Hold it!
We're here from the settlement. We're here on behalf of one of the benefactors of the mining facility. We lost one of our teammates. We're just looking for him. Have you seen anyone around?
What are you doing out here? You don't belong here.
Have you not spoken to Mr. Maserata, the administrator?
The tall, rangy alien steps in between two of the sentries and goes,
We knew we were expecting visitors. This is not what we had in mind.
Do you mind if I put my hands down? I won't make any threatening gestures. I'm not armed. Well, apart from the pistol, but that's not going to concern you with that tasty bit of kit you got on your hip and you two guys covering me with guns.
Lose the weapons.
I put both my axes in the ass and close the door.
Ormaganda?
Okay, I'll take the pistol out. Put it on the ground.
Step forward, slowly.
Step forward slowly. I'll say, be polite if you put the guns down, or at least stop pointing them at us.
You are in our camp. Politeness is not high on our list of concerns.
Ooh.
As this interaction takes place,
He says that out loud as well.
Dex Griffin strides from the main module. Steps out into the light of the fire and goes,
We got your man inside. I suggest you keep those movements real slow there, partner.
How's he doing? We haven't seen him for a while, so...
Wait, we need to be a little bit more circumspect. I'm just thinking that we should be a bit surprised initially.
RP?
You think? Okay, so I'll be like, I'll nudge face. I'll be like, I'm sorry.
Your man, he was in our camp. He was supposed to be coming out to meet us, not infiltrate us. What the fuck are you doing out here at this time of night?
Mr. Griffin, we're looking for one of our colleagues, but I'm very confused because he'd gone out on the ice towards the Epsilon mine. What's he doing here?
My question exactly. Maserata told you weren't to go near the mines. So I don't understand why you're out there or out here.
We don't answer to Maserata. We don't answer to you either. We're here conducting our own research for our own benefactor and our own employer. I don't understand why one of my men is here. As I said, he was out reconnoitering the southwest by the Epsilon mine last we had contact, and then we lost contact with him and another member of our party. This is why we're here. We thought you might have come across him, but we didn't know that he was here. We thought you might be able to help us find him.
Give me a bluff check.
Ooh, this isn't going to be great. Okay, 18.
Dex takes a moment, narrows
That's what
his
as well.
narrows his eyes at you as he weighs up your story.
Because Ormagander ain't good at nothing.
If you want to get out of here in one piece, you're gonna step forward real slow. We're gonna have a conversation.
And he gestures towards the middle module in a no uncertain terms. Come inside.
I walk in slowly.
Yeah, well, I'll advance. Trying to look as non-threatening as a 7-foot built like a brick shithouse murderous lizard can look.
Okay. As you make your way into the general module, Blaz is still pinned up against the table on which you had been laying earlier, pinned by a sentry and the Weasley dangerous-looking human you encountered earlier. You are flanked on all sides by the sentries and the other hunters.
We're not going to start.
Don't
worry.
you are shepherded into the module, and Dex follows you in. You do see them come in, yeah.
I immediately start saying, guys, they won't listen to me. They won't listen to me about the spiders. There are hundreds of them. They won't listen.
Like, it's all right. It's all right, Blaz. Calm down. We'll talk this out. I'm sure there's been some kind of misunderstanding here.
Dex follows you in and kicks a few chairs over towards the centre of the room and gestures to you to take a seat.
Ormungand is down Commander Riker style.
Okay. The three of you are sat in chairs in the centre of this sterile, brightly lit room, surrounded on all sides by some pretty grizzled-looking sentries and a variety of colourful characters, the hunters you've heard so little about.
You got exactly 5 seconds to start making sense. Or you're going out of here in bags, you understand?
Look, Dex, is it, I assume?
Yeah.
There's no need for such hostilities, okay? We're out here doing a job. We're not out here to fight anyone, kill anyone, have any sort of, anything like that. We're out here doing a job. All we want to do is get our guy back. He went missing. We've been searching for him. I don't know what's happened here. I'm glad we've managed to find him here. We thought we'd be searching for a lot longer, and we feared the worst. But we're here to do is a job. We're not here to piss anybody off. If you've got some problems, I don't know, that's your issue.
You have to understand, Mr. Griffin, we're as confused to find our friend here as you are. We were hoping you'd be able to help us find him. We didn't expect him to be at your camp.
Blaz, anything to add?
I'm gonna sit there rocking in my chair, scratching my arms a little bit. I might choose to act depending on what is said next.
I'll say, Mr. Griffin, our friend clearly has a tale to tell. He's clearly in shock. Maybe you should give him the opportunity to explain what's happened.
I'm all ears, son.
And then he gestures to the sentries who come forward and start patting you down. They are clearing you out of your possessions, just making sure you're posing no further threat.
You see you're here representing one of the shareholders, huh?
That's correct.
Yeah.
What exactly is it you're here to find out?
Well, he has had no shipments for a while. We were wondering where those were. Also, why he's not had any comms about missing shipments. And to see if any of his other employees on this establishment were safe.
Well, I don't deal with the comms. Do I look like an IT guy to you?
No, well, we've spoken to Nix, as you're aware. You don't need to worry about that. All we're here for right now is looking for our guy, and clearly he's here. Clearly something happened when we lost contact with him that is... We need to hear what happened while he was away.
Remember, just out of character, remember that we had agreed that we were going to say that we were also looking for Clara. Right?
Yeah.
So where's that?
So we're missing 2 party members. I'm not.
Yeah.
That, I'm telling you now. I'm just saying that. So we're all in on that, right? Well,
Yeah.
James isn't, but you and I are.
Yeah.
Where are the rest of your crew?
Well, another one went missing. These 2 went out on a mission together, and we haven't heard from them since last night.
So the ladies, they're AWOL, huh?
We're missing 2 members of our party, or 1 member of our party now.
Yeah, the other one's back at our ship.
Your ship, huh?
The
Rusty
rest.
Mustang.
Yeah, I saw it. Seems to me like your crew ain't really cut out for this Arctic exploration. You keep losing people.
So
Now,
it would appear.
I ain't here to babysit outsiders. I'm here to kill me some arachnoids.
Well,
Now,
hey,
the-
we all enjoy killing arachnids.
Elias flinches at the words arachnoids.
Maybe we should listen to what my compadre over here has to say, because he's clearly had an experience with your little beasties, and I suspect he has a tale to tell.
I suspect, from the fact that you're calling them little beasties, you ain't got a fucking clue what you're dealing with out here, and that's why you keep losing crew. That ain't my problem. Until they start turning up in my camp unexpected like. Maybe if you stick to the settlement, stay in your hab, you'd all be a little safer.
Settlement's not safe. It's not safe. Settlement's not safe. Nowhere's safe. Anywhere's safe. Nobody's safe.
Someone shut him up. Now, I think I've been real hospitable so far. Your friend here sent me across the room. I don't appreciate that much. You better start making sense real soon. What is it you want? You said
When
you were supposed to be
listen,
coming
crew
out here
member.
to see us. What the fuck is it you want? Ask your questions, and then I'll ask mine.
So we're down to business now. Is this what you're proposing? We get down to business.
I've been all business since the moment I set foot on this moon. Seems like you've been tramping around like tourists, getting yourself fucked up.
I'm not the one smoking.
He walks over to you and pulls your last cheroot out of your top pocket and goes,
Well, we'll see about that.
and sparks up your last fucking cigar. Takes a big drag on it and blows it in your face.
I can see the urge to eat this guy's head building up in Orpington.
Okay.
No, I just put
Ormangander's eyes flicker black.
I put a big
Goes,
dragony hand on your shoulder.
he's like,
As soon as you start to reach your hand up, 2 of the sentries come forward, and you just feel the muzzles, like you, Ormagander, and you, Face, feel the muzzle of a fairly fucking mean-looking laser rifle poked into your clavicle.
It's like, sit down.
Yeah,
These guys will
those-
blow you the fuck away where you stand.
Get those
Right now, the
guns off
tension is
me.
high.
Get the guns off me.
Is anyone coming towards Blaz to press anything against him? Because if so, he's kind of like gonna cringe away and say, "Bad touch, no touch, Blazzy, zap zap."
No. You know what? Actually, they do seem they're quick on the uptake. These are not idiots. But they are not being interrogated by you. They've given you the opportunity to ask your questions. But they have the upper hand.
So, okay.
You're telling me that they're now clustered around Ormungandr and Face?
No, I'm telling you that there is a sentry with a laser rifle in Face's chest and a laser rifle in Ormungandr's chest, and the rest are lining the room.
Okay.
Wait, the building?
Sorry?
How many people are inside that building? How many sentries and people from their camp, hunters?
There are now. There's the flame rifle alien. There is the tall, rangy alien. There is the Weasley human. There is Dex Griffin. And there are 4 sentries with one still out in another module and one still roaming around outside. You see one, and the other one disappeared into a module, presumably to retrieve the med kit mentioned earlier. Just to give you the lay of the land.
Okay, from what I can see, well, the shipping container isn't blowing up, so I assume that you're all fine in there. Even if I can sneak down, and there's no more electricity. I'm wondering if I can sneak down and take a look in some of the other modules.
If you want to close the gap, give me another stealth check. There's only one sentry out, so this is a relatively
29.
low. Oh yeah, you smash it.
I don't know why I roll so high on stealth checks.
I mean, a plus 12
Given
doesn't
some
hurt.
of the rolling that's been going on this evening, let's not complain.
She again is like a mist, and basically you can go wherever you want. You can be wherever you want. This sentry is not clocking you.
Awesome. So I'm gonna head to.
Sneaks by him doing the walk like an Egyptian.
I'm gonna wave through the window at you as I pass. So I was thinking to take a look in the building on the other side, the larger one of the buildings on the other side.
They're all the same size. So, yeah, so you make your way to the far side of the settlement. That's fine. The first module you reach, peering in through the window, you can see that it's a residential hab, much like the ones back at the settlement. A little bit more austere. Clearly, these guys have not been there as long. A bit less personalised. They're pretty much. The first one you reach has essentially like a bunk, like two bunks. So it's like a billet, a 2-man billet. And that's what you managed to make out through the window. Back to the general module.
I ain't going to ask again. What is it you want to know? My patience is running thin.
Okay, listen, Longshanks, you've made your point. Have you seen an increase in activity down on the plains from your arachnoid beasties?
Well, of course we have. That's why we're here.
No, have you seen an intensity since you were here, since you started hunting them? Have you actually reduced the numbers, or do they keep coming?
The Arachnoids. There's a lot of them out there.
But
We take out nest after nest.
And they keep coming, right?
Sure. Why?
Have you mapped any of their tunnels?
These things spread out all over the plains. We've mapped a lot, but you got no chance of finding every tunnel. They're in the thousands.
The Queen.
Can I ask you a question, Mr. Griffin?
You might as well.
You're an experienced hunter. You're clearly a dangerous man. You know what you're doing. I assume you have previous experience of dealing with this specific species. Are they behaving like they would normally behave? Does this accord with how you would expect a hunt like this to play out?
No one's got experience of dealing with this particular species. That's why they call me.
Right.
I'm debating in my head whether to just say none of this matters anyway if we don't get off the fucking planet soon.
I mean, all I really care about is, do you say it?
This is what I'm thinking. I'm debating.
When he says nobody knows about these creatures, Blaz begins to recite quietly, in a monotone voice, word for word verbatim, exactly what was in the physiological breakdown that he researched back in the settlement.
Blaz, give me a perception check.
Well,
There's a glimmer. There's a glimmer. Dex's eyes flash. You don't know what it means. You don't know what it is. You can't, probably should have been a sense motive, but whatever, like, you just... There's a processing that takes place.
Can I do a sense motive check?
You can.
Do we see the glimmer?
18.
Okay. If you were to judge Ormungand, you would say it was a glimmer of recognition. That's what I'm going to say.
Right. Look, I'm still missing a party member. You're clearly not interested in what I've got to say. What do you want to do? I've put my cards on the table. We've put our cards on the table. We found our guy. You can get out of your hair if you want. I've still got a party member missing. You want to help us find them? That would be much appreciated. But if not, we'll fuck off and do it ourselves.
I don't think for 1 second you put your cards on the table, son. I've been playing cards a long time, and you ain't shown your hand one shit.
Blaz is still murmuring a slightly crazy way. While similar species have been discovered on other planets, they appear to be somewhat unique and involved a curious relationship with the geological properties of this particular moon.
Definitely getting RP XP this week.
Look, if you're here to get the mining going, that's what we're here for too. But this is getting in my way, and I ain't willing to tolerate that. You don't belong up here. You don't belong in the mines. I'll tell you all I know about these arachnoids quite happily.
We don't belong in the mines. You don't belong in the mines. No one belongs in the mines. The mines are the spiders.
So good.
But I...
It's really thrown because it's too good.
But I ain't having disruption to my operation. Your guys turning up in the middle of the night, in the middle of my camp, casting kinda shocking me across the room. I ain't down with that. We better reach some kind of arrangement here, otherwise somebody's gonna get hurt. And I can tell you right now, it ain't gonna be me.
I thought you already got hurt just now.
Oh, you are pushing it, son.
Let's just grab our guy and go. Oh my god, no, we don't need this.
You don't want us here. You're not going to give us any more help. You don't believe us. What more is there to do?
Well, why don't you try and convince me? Give me a reason why I should help you. We're here to do a job, and you're doing nothing but getting in the way right now.
Getting in the way of what?
What possible reason do I have to help you?
Because either way, you're getting paid. We're not taking any money from you. We're not taking anything else from you. This is not a rivalry. This should be, you know, a simple job. You're not, you know, none of your pay is going to get taken away from this. You're still earning your keep. We're not, you know, we're being paid by someone completely different. We're not here to get in your way. Friend. We're here to investigate. As incompetent as we may seem to you right now.
Oh yeah.
I assure you, we can hold our own.
He give me a diplomacy check.
Okay.
I'm actually quite good at diplomacy. Weirdly enough.
That is a 17.
Dex chews it over for a second. Seems to contemplate the taste of the cheroot.
Well, look. There are a lot of those spindly fucks out there. I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't benefit from an extra gun hand or two. But this right here, you can't have it. If you're gonna help, you're gonna help. That means you operate by my rules. Now, if that ain't acceptable to you, you can get back on your ship and be on your merry. But I can't have this kind of disruption to our operation here, you understand? These things are coming down in their thousands. And I can't have no loose cannons on my camp. So, you got an offer on the table, I guess. You join us, do things our way. Maybe we can work together. Or you keep causing chaos here on Cryonis. You're on your own. And maybe you make it off this rock. Maybe you don't. But that won't be on me, friends. That'll be on you.
Look, of course, we have our own priorities to be here. Not least of which is our other missing comrade. We're willing to not cause chaos. That was not our intent. But sometimes these things can't be helped. If your rules are not too restrictive, then I feel like we can come to an agreement. Of course, we both still have our respective bosses to report to.
I want you out of here right now. You get back on that piece of shit trawl you got parked up outside the settlement. You head back to the town. I don't want to see you out here again. You can take your shit and go. But if I see you within 50 clicks of this establishment again, it won't be a conversation, you understand?
Lars stands up out of the chair, brushes his coat off, and very well. And takes up his staff, gives it a twirling flourish, and proceeds to stride out the door, humming himself.
Can I cast Overheat?
Can you cast what?
Overheat.
On what?
On the whoever's in a 15-foot cone in front of me.
Oh god, it's 2 minutes to 11. Okay, hang on. No,
What is
you can't.
overheat?
No, wait, you know what?
What is overheat?
No, stop.
overheat?
The episode's over, right? This conversation is over for this week. Because we're not continuing this conversation until I've drawn a map. So, on that note, folks, we are going to wrap it. I don't know whether that's a tense or anticlimactic ending, but I just can't have whatever you're about to do, Face. No, hang. Oh, I kind of want to know, though, because it helps me prep for next week. Tell me what you want to do. You want to cast overheat or what?
Well, I assume...
Be sure that you want to do it, though. Be fucking sure. Because I will... Next week's episode starts with the consequences of this. Understand?
Oh, God.
Understand?
Let me
Think about it.
let me just get the picture in my head of what's going on here. There's a guy with a gun pointed at my chest.
Yes.
In my chest.
Yes.
And behind him is sitting Dex.
Dex is... I would say Dex is like 10, 15 feet away off to the right.
I thought he was opposite me. I thought we were having a conversation.
Yeah, I thought
You guys are all lined up on chairs, and he's pacing up and down, trying to work out what the fuck to do with you.
Sorry, I thought we were literally having like a fucking.
Occasionally he gets in your face, occasionally he drifts away.
Reservoir Dogs, kind of like Mr. White, Mr. Blonde face off between the two of us. I thought that's what was going on.
Gentlemen, my insanity covered for the fact that I can't roll for shit, and may have gotten us a smidgen of information. I suggest he's just told us to leave, and that we should leave.
Right.
I'm
yes,
just thinking
we should leave,
heard.
but also this is all on fucking you, Chase.
Go on.
I'm just saying you've already hurt him, right? How much HP?
No, look. Read the GM, right? We're not supposed to be fucking fighting this guy right now.
No.
Right?
Well, then
And this is me, the person who wants to fight everyone all the time.
But then
Same.
you shouldn't be such a dick. I tried to be diplomatic about things, and he was being a dick.
Dude,
He let you go.
Eat him later. We're outnumbered like 12-2. Yeah, well, 12-3, right? And they're sticking big lasers in our chests. Like, I'm totally down for killing these guys at another time, but
Not now.
Unfortunately, even though he stole my fucking cigar, and you stopped me from like having a Barney with him earlier. So I think we just need to get the fuck out of Dodge.
I just don't like how he ordered us off the planet.
I agree. He's a cunt. We're going to ignore. Sorry, we're going to ignore that.
I should point out, he didn't order you off the planet. He ordered you out of his
Just
settlement
told
back
us-
to town.
Yeah.
And off the
You're
ice.
overreacting.
We can ignore.
Just to
all
clarify,
of that. Yeah.
I will jump
We
in to
get-
clarify facts
Let's just get the hell
while
out.
I don my personal protective equipment in the face
deal
of
with this later.
the fucking carnage that may or may not be about to ensue. Should we
Face,
wrap?
happy
I tell you
dragon.
what.
No.
Happy Dragon.
Should we wrap
Right,
it up? Should we
Jay.
wrap it up there, kids, and see if Face has calmed down
Yeah.
by next week, and I will be prepared
yeah,
for every
right.
eventuality. What do you say?
If you're watching, Zoe, this is all your fault.
How could you get captured and leave us to this chaos?
Because
What
clearly,
did
like,
we end up like? What? What did we end up in this situation?
okay. So what the other thing is, right? Face, and not allowed on stealth missions.
No, ever, never. Done.
The stealth went
What
really well
ability?
right up until I tried a computers check, at which point, oh dear.
Yeah, and then yes, you tried a computers check, which went to shit, and then
And
you
that
failed
one's
the
and that one, right?
Yeah.
You didn't
Okay.
have to fall on the ground and pretend.
Right. You know what? Let's save the
Party
fear.
recriminations notwithstanding.
Right, the recriminations. We're going to do this in the after show. So we're going to say bye to YouTube, we will be back in the fold soon. I am going to continue editing all of the backlog of episodes. I just want to say thank you to the cast. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being such unpredictable fun for me as a GM. More same time, same place next week here on the Javen Fox channel. Monday nights, 8 p.m. Starfinder: The Drift Awakens. What a roller coaster! Will these guys pick a fight with every NPC they find just because they don't like their attitude? Will they save their captain? Will they just invent things that are in their inventory? Probably. Maybe. Who knows?
Like that's the best one we've got is just pulling things out that don't exist.
Yeah. It's like if you play D&D, it's like every player I play with has a bag of holding that is filled with stuff they've told me nothing about.
Wouldn't have happened if we'd have been allowed to steal the fucking stapler.
Yeah.
Don't blame it on the stapler.
Yeah.
Right, we're gonna
It
do.
would have been fine if it wasn't for the stapler.
Right, YouTube, thank you for being here. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and all that good stuff down below. Please subscribe to these lovely people. Over here, we've got OverlordFace. Make sure you check him out. Make sure you check out the Uncanny Crafter below, and the much missed but not forgotten VampZoe. Make sure you check them out on Twitch.
Please come back.
We'll be back next week, although for those of you hanging out with us on Twitch right now, we're going to be back in a few minutes to apparently have an argument about 6 or 7 game mechanics, my style and their style. So we'll see you in a couple. Thank you for being here, and yeah, if you're a YouTuber, we'll see you next week. See you tomorrow.